go time.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gents, Florida Man Sports is back.
Yes, sir.
And on this episode, folks, the post-election show, thank you so much for tuning in. We are streaming on all major platforms here at Florida Man Sports.
We're going to discuss all politics, no sports, this show. Just tell me what you think,
We're definitely not going to do that. But what we are going to do is we are going to give you the Florida Man perspective on all major sports.
Yes,
now, Johnny, before we go into the NFL Week 10 predictions where we can't miss, let's put a bow on Major League Baseball. Short and sweet, Johnny. The World Series ended a couple days ago. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I know that we do a show about once a week, so we would have liked to briefly discuss baseball right after it happened, but hey, it is what it is. Now, Florida Man Sports did call it. We told you back in spring training, Yankees and Dodgers. Dodgers are going to win it all.
Sure.
I wish to be wrong because I wanted the Yankees to win. I think we both did, but ultimately, Yankees didn't show up. We saw what happened. There's no need for us to get in great detail. At the end of the day, it's proved something that I teach my little leaguers and my own kids, that fundamentals win championships. And the scouting report for the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken, that what they told their players is that the Yankees were talent over fundamentals, that if you run the bases with purpose and with aggression, they're going to screw up.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was a debacle, something I wish to erase from my memory. But congratulations to the Dodgers. We did call. I wish he didn't win it. And now, brother, Ohtani's going to go on a run to the Dodgers. I mean, Jordan started to win his championship his 7th year. Ohtani wins his championship 7th year. I see the Dodgers with that team that they spent all the money on going on a run.
Kudos to the Dodgers, to your point, Johnny Cinco, for just doing that, for securing a team that can win multiple championships. I agree with you there. And then for the Yankees, we're kind of imploding from within. As we know, there's going to be players now that are free agents that we got to try to sign and bring
Gleyber
back.
Torres, thank you, bye.
So
Go.
I'll keep that short and sweet. Wanted the Yankees to win. They didn't. And look forward to next year, see what kind of rebuild the Yankees do to try to make it back to the World Series.
Yeah, spend whatever you got to spend for Juan Soto, please.
Let's move on to Week 10, folks, our bread and butter here at Florida Man Sports. Again, want to remind you that we are streaming on all major platforms, so please like, share, and subscribe. Let's start with the Vikings and the Jaguars, Johnny Cinco, where the Jaguars showed some life after being down 0-23 or 0-25. Now they're at home. They take on the Vikings. How do you see this game?
Yeah, they showed some life, but really it just came down to Philly just playing it out, just letting them kind of get back in the game. And then they almost lost it, but they didn't. The Jaguars, I don't know what we're waiting for to fire Peterson. So maybe the owners just figures that, all right, well, we might as well keep you. Belichick next year will make a run. I don't know. But it's just a matter of time before he gets fired, if not this season and the offseason. It's not that complicated. The Jaguars are not winning this game. They're not going to come close to winning this game. Minnesota wins.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on the Vikings. And furthermore, I think, Johnny, if it hasn't happened yet, I think that the owner is going to probably wait for the end of the season. And now more than ever, Johnny, I think this is probably Bill Belichick's team. Like, I'm just going to go on record saying that. I know I said the Browns before. I had called the Browns. I feel now more adamant than ever that if they're keeping the coach and they're not going to let him go to this point, that maybe they end up keeping him the rest of the year, and then they let him go in the offseason. Bill Belichick comes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to I said this is the first option for Belichick weeks ago. But it depends on what he wants. I think Belichick, he hates the Jets, so it's unlikely it's going to happen there. That's one thing we both have in common. Giants, because he's a former defensive coordinator, won Super Bowls. But I think that Jaguars team, young talent, they're going to give him the keys to the ship, and I think that's the best option right now.
I'm taking the Vikings as well, and maybe the coach does get fired. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Depends if they get rocked. If they lose horribly, then maybe.
No, I agree. Moving on to the other Florida team, Johnny Cinco, were the Miami Dolphins. They're the road team once again here. They're taking on the Rams. The Rams are getting on that hot streak. What do you got in this one?
Now, Rams are getting on that hot streak. Obviously, Puka and Kupp are back. Puka goes and does something dumb and gets thrown out the last game there. But this is going to be a high offensive game. Tua's been looking good since he's been back, but the Dolphins just can't find a way to win. They keep losing close games. But I think this game, the Dolphins are going to put it all together.
Oh, wow.
I expect listen, I like the Rams. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think everybody's scoring points in this game. But Chain's going to go ahead and run the ball like crazy, get some points. Tua's going to do his thing. Waddle, Hill, all these guys, I think everybody's going to perform in this game. So I have Miami coming out of that, breaking that losing streak and win this game.
So for me, I think, John, you would agree that both teams are getting healthy offensively at the right time, more or less, whether it's the concussions or the injuries to their receivers. But for me, let's look at the Rams. They're 3-1 at home, and they've only gotten better since they've gotten healthier. So for me, I'm taking the Rams to win this game. I'm taking the home team to win. And at the end of the day, we know this already. Stick a fork in the Dolphins. They're not winning anything this year. They're not even a wild card team, in my opinion, at this point.
Well, they can go on a run. They have the type of team now with Tua back that they're capable of going on a run. I personally think the run begins right here this week.
Yeah, and I think that we rip the Band-Aid and be done with it, and better luck next year for the Miami Dolphins. Let's move on to the last Florida team, Jonny Cinco, where the Rams, they're traveling to Tampa. They're playing the Buccaneers at home, where the Bucs had that heart.
Not the Rams.
The Niners.
Oh, it's the Niners. It's the Rams.
Oh, my apologies.
Sorry.
The San Francisco 49ers are traveling on the road, taking on the Bucs at home. Bucs had that heart-wrenching loss in overtime. Who do you got in this one?
Let me be perfectly clear. The Bucs should have won that game. Okay, the Bucs should have won that game. We all know this
because you picked them to win, and
we all know this. What Bowles did was a mistake. You're on a road team. You're going to overtime. You play for the win, especially in Kansas City, where Kansas City has the reps, and we saw of course, they're going to give them the game, and that's what happened there. So, off tangent there. Now we have a new week, another tough challenge. You have Tampa Bay, who needs the win. They needed the win last week, and they should have got it. But when you play scared money, don't make money, and Bowles played scared, and that's what happened, and they lost. So I'm like to believe that finally now that he's learned from his mistakes, even with this depleted team, the Bucs are going to come through against a San Francisco team that has been nothing but a letdown. I have Tampa Bay Bucs over San Francisco.
I want to thank you for the vote of confidence there. Back-to-back, you picking the Buccaneers.
They should have won last week.
For me, folks, let's look back at a little bit of history real quick. We've lost 3 of those 5 losses, Johnny, have been by, I believe, 7 points or less for the Bucs.
Yeah.
2 games in overtime that we've lost. Also want to mention that both overtime games, for those Buc fans out there, Mayfield didn't even get an opportunity to throw the ball for those 2 overtime games. Nevertheless, CMC is coming back this week, so you want to add salt to the wound just when you want to pick the Bucs to win.
Has that been confirmed?
It's confirmed. CMC's coming back this week, and why would he not? It's my Bucs, right? So why would he not come back and ruin my party right before the bye week?
I think that him coming back still, they're going to take it easy with him. They're going to ease him into it. Obviously, Jordan has done very well as his replacement. He's done well. They're not going to go ahead and give him 30 carries, bro. So
I have been calling 99% of the Buc games right this season. I think I missed 1 week as far as the wins and losses. I'm going to take the Bucs to win this game and get on the bye week at 500, get healthy, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. Bucs win this game. Please don't let me down.
Yeah, the Bucs are going to win, and he's talking as a fan. I'm just telling you that the Bucs have a good team. Yes, depleted with injuries, but San Francisco has been nothing but a letdown. It doesn't matter if CMC's back.
Yeah.
He's not the same CMC.
He's not
going to be.
They do get in a good routine though, and don't get it twisted, right? They're going to flow with CMC, even though he may not get as many touches. That offense is going to look dynamic to a degree. You don't think so? They're not going to skip a beat with CMC. He may not be as dynamic, but they're going to do well.
All I know is that if Tampa gets in that same situation, and they're playing in San Francisco, and Bowles goes to overtime, fire the coach. Fire him. I get moving on from here. Scared money don't make money.
No, I'm with you there. So let's see. Hopefully the Bucs will pull it off, be 500 before the bye week. Let's move on to game of the week, Jonny Cinco, where the Cincinnati Bengals somehow are now 4-5, taking on the Ravens at home, where the Ravens had to bounce back and destroy Denver last week. Who are you taking in this one?
There's always teams that go on a run, guys. That's why I'm picking Miami to be the next team to go on a run. Cincinnati did that. We were just baffled by what's going on with Cincinnati, losing week 1 to the New England Patriots. There's a lot of people that were expecting Cincinnati to go ahead and win the AFC, if not make the AFC Championship. I mean, the Ravens started off really bad and was like, oh, my God, if they lose on their game, they got a 3% chance to make the playoffs. Now they won on the run. It's
stuck with my Super Bowl team.
The season of runs. So it's time right now for Cincinnati to make their run. They're in the middle of their run. Ravens are obviously an amazing team. They're still a top team in the NFL. But this Sunday, Cincinnati, they're too hot right now. Cincinnati's winning this game against the Ravens.
You're picking Cincinnati?
I'm picking Cincinnati.
Jonny Cinco, let me remind you, Florida Man Sports streaming on all platforms, that Lamar Jackson last week had a perfect QBR score.
Yes, he did. What happened the week before?
3rd time he has, I believe now he's tied some crazy stat for having the most perfect QBRs for the guy that runs first, then passes. So I just want to throw that out there for the MVP hopeful. Look, at the end of the day, this is going to be the nail in the coffin. The Ravens are winning this game. I disagree with you completely. The Ravens are at home, man. You got to take the home team that knows how to win. They had their letdown game 2 weeks ago. That's not going to happen here. It's going to be an offensive juggernaut game. I give you that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the winner, the team that I picked to go to the Super Bowl. Ravens win this game at home.
Burrow's too hot, man. Burrow's too hot right now.
Oh, he's playing Madden. He's playing Madden.
He's playing Madden. Hot. They figured out the kinks. They figured out a couple of things here. Big game from Chase coming up. So that's why I'm like Cincinnati.
Listen, Burrow's playing Madden, okay? But Jackson is playing Madden on all pro mode. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
Giants and Panthers, folks.
Boo.
Where the Panthers are at home. The Giants are on the road, Johnny. I'm going to just say whoever wins this game, the other person's getting fired. I'm just kidding. Who's winning this game?
No, this is the turd bowl of the week here. This is a crappy game between the Carolina Panthers and the Giants here. For me, I like the running game with Carolina. They had a very close victory last week. Hubbard's on fire. Daniel Jones is a dumpster fire. Not that Bryce Young isn't that much better, but between these two teams, I like Carolina winning this particular game.
I'm going to have to disagree with you again on this one. I'm taking the Giants all the way to travel on the road and get the win.
Man, one of us are going to be on point.
Hey, look, last few weeks we've been fire. We've been double digits, both of us, whether we disagree on some of these. But look, at the end of the day, I have to imagine this is the team that I've watched in the previous weeks, Johnny, the Giants, that they don't quit on their coach. They've got the heart of a lion. They continue to play. Their 2-7 record obviously doesn't show that. But when you meet a team like the Panthers, who are also 2-7. There's no doubt for me that the Giants team overall and on paper are a better team, Jones aside. And let's talk about Jones for a second. If it's between Jones and Bryce Young, I'm taking Jones.
Yes.
Well, there you go. So Giants win this one. They win on the road.
The run game for Carolina has been on fire. Hubbard is a much better running back than what the Giants have to offer. And it's the offensive line is slightly better for Carolina. So that being said, it's just going to come down to which quarterback is going to make less mistakes. So I get it. But sure. I think that Hubbard's going to run all over this Giants defense.
This is the nice thing here at Florida Man Sports while we keep going with the Week 10 predictions. Just want to remind you guys, last few weeks we've been on fire, double-digit victories. I think I'm 10-5. Were
11-4?
11-4 last week. So whether you're making your picks based on these conversations, hear both perspectives and then make the best decision possible for you and your picks. Let's move on to the Bears and the Patriots, Johnny, where the Bears are at home. It's funny. The Bears are 4-0 at home. Right, so they're undefeated at home. But overall, you saw what happened last week. The Arizona Cardinals picked their pocket, to say the least. Who are you taking in this one?
Well, Arizona took advantage of Caleb Williams, a rookie. Obviously not having
they exploited him. Oh my God, it was bad.
But that being said, the Patriots are not they're the bottom of the barrel in the NFL right now. So you expect the Patriots to do the same thing to Caleb Williams. Patriots have a decent defense, but the Chicago Bears have a top 5 defense in the league. This is a game, same thing to where it's interesting, number 1 versus number 3 quarterback. That's really the only storyline here.
That is the story. That's the biggest storyline, Johnny.
Yeah,
it's huge.
But both are not going to play very well. I expect both defenses to pick the pockets. And it's going to be an interesting defensive game. So the Bears are going to win this game just because they have significantly better defense.
Wow. I am not shocked because you never pick on your Patriots. You want them to tank. And when you're talking about the worst teams in football, Johnny, how about the Raiders, right? The worst team in football. The Giants and Panthers are right there as well as the worst teams in football. So I believe that the Patriots and the Bears are 1A above those teams, in my opinion, this season, just because of the upside that they have in the quarterbacks and, like you were mentioning, new rookie quarterbacks. For me, it is the battle of the rookies, and I'm taking the Patriots to win. Look, at the end of the day, the last week's game, if the Patriots are smart enough and if the coach is smart enough, you know what it's going to take to beat Williams. And as far as the QB battle, you got to be impressed with what Drake May's done. I know he had the concussion. He came back. He ran for 90 yards and a touchdown or something like that last week.
Dude,
you just don't want to get hurt, Johnny. Listen, get ready to get hurt again. It's okay. I'm taking the Patriots to win. I'm taking the Patriots to beat the Bears, and I'm taking Drake May to solidify that Jaden Daniels is the Rookie of the Year this year because he's going to beat Williams.
Jaden Daniels is the Rookie of the Year. If he doesn't play a single game the rest of the year, he's still winning Rookie of the Year.
Like I did it, though, right?
Very well done. But Chicago should have beat Washington if it wasn't for that terrible defense on that Hail Mary. And what happened? Caleb Williams didn't do anything. That defense and Swift carried them against a good the best team in the NFC East. So that same defense, that same running back is going against a much worse team. So somehow this isn't a battle of the rookies.
What's the worst thing that can happen to a defense, Johnny? What's the worst thing?
What, getting overconfident?
No. Being out on the field for so long because your quarterback is terrible, 3 and outs, that eventually you get depleted. The Bears are a good defense, you're right. But it's Caleb Williams that shoots them in the foot going 3 and out multiple times so fast that eventually they get tired, and that's what happens. They lose games.
You don't think that's going to happen to Drake May? You think Drake May is going to go out there and light it up against the Chicago defense?
I'm this is Florida Man Sports. I'm going to stick to what I've said in the beginning of everything. If you've listened to previous shows, and Johnny, what have I always said about Caleb Williams? He was not worthy. He was not worthy of the number 1 pick. And I believe that people like Drake May, like Bo Nix, are better than him. So I'm going to stick with that.
Who's having the best outside of Jaden Daniels? Who's having the best rookie year?
Bo Nix. Talking about quarterbacks, Bo Nix.
Just in general, I'm trying to think I think Bo Nix is surprising a lot of people, including myself.
I called him, folks. I called him.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next game here, Johnny, where the Bills and the Colts are going at it. The Colts are at home. Bills are 7-2 right now, running that great record. Who do you got in this one?
Bills are the worst 7-2 team in football.
Wow, Zeronius.
I'm not saying that they're bad. They're a good team. They're going to clearly win their division, the AFC East here, but they're.
Wow.
I have faith in Joe Flacco. If this was the Richardson-led Colts team, the guy who quit, I've never even heard of that.
That was wild.
Quitting.
That was wild.
Like, I'm tired. I need to take this playoffs. Like, you can't do that. You're the general. You're the leader. You see that your offensive line, your players see that, and they're going to lose respect for you. That's why you got benched, bro. So you better learn from that. And ever not do that again. But for me, that already tells me what I need to know from Richardson. You're done. You're a bust. You ain't the guy. You can't come in this league already and go ahead and quit in the middle of a game. Never happened before, ever.
I don't know.
So I'm done with Richardson on that end here. So teams have called hey, is he available? I get it. The guy has amazing talent, but man, it's up here, bro. It's up here. You need poison. That if you can't handle the pressure, you can't handle that in the middle of a game, then you don't belong in the NFL. So I got everything I needed to know from Richardson. He's done. Flacco with this offense. Jonathan Taylor hopefully can get things going here. Downs. Pittman hasn't done much. Downs has proven to be the number 1 receiver for Indianapolis. I have the Colts beating the Bills.
Wow. Why do you say that the Bills are like the worst 7-2 team? I said something similar with the Houston Texans, and I was right. The record would indicate better, and they ended up losing. So, but why are you saying that with the Bills?
The eye test, dude. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Cooks has been doing okay, Allen's, but they're playing.
Do you need glasses?
They're playing. They're playing. They haven't been playing elite teams or anything else. And the 2 teams, the games they lost were significantly better teams. So it just comes down to when they face a contender, they've just been facing a bunch of cupcakes. So I think the Colts here with Flacco, now that solidified Flacco, you're the guy. This Colts team is a much better team under Flacco than Richardson, and he's going to prove it this week.
Listen, the last few weeks, you and I have been on money, double digits, whether it's me or you having 11, 12, or 13 wins. But this week, I feel like we're disagreeing so much that one of us is going to have single digits. And for me, folks, I'm taking the Bills to beat the Colts. For me, John, it's like, don't overthink this one. Why would you? Look, the Bills are a team that shows you that they are really, really good on defense. They're a very good defensive team. And they're a team that just got Cooper. Cooper got nothing last week, and they still won. And that kind of tells you a little bit of what this offense can do, and they're only going to get better once Cooper gets more acclimated with the team. So don't overthink this one for me. I don't know why Johnny's picking the Colts. Bills are winning this one on the road, and it's the money is -4. I'm not going to go money lines, but I think it's going to be more than 7.
Taylor's due. Downs is going to have a huge game.
Downs going to have a huge game? Oh, buddy. Let's move on to the Broncos and the Chiefs, Johnny, where the Chiefs, as we already know, they stayed undefeated. They beat the Bucs in overtime. Who are you taking? The Chiefs are at home. Who are you taking?
Right there. Chiefs are at home. What happens when the Chiefs are home? It's just nobody gets home cooking like the Chiefs. Yeah. Now, this is going to be closer than people think. It's a divisional game. It's going to be a close game. But the NFL doesn't want the Chiefs to lose, especially. It is ridiculous. They had the opportunity. The Bucs had the opportunity to mess up the script. They weren't expecting to do that. And this fool just needed to go for the 2-point conversion. Just go to overtime.
Hindsight 2020. They don't get it. It doesn't matter.
Man, that's just what it is. You were telling me about some dumb stats saying that.
The stat was this year there's been like 40-something 2-point conversion, and only 2 or 3 of them have been completed. So the stats don't favor that anyway.
No. See, that's the problem with today's NFL. And we talked about this a little bit.
Sure.
To where I can't stand teams going for 2 points because the analytics says 2. You go for 2 when you need to. That's it. When you need to. You don't just go for 2 just because in the third quarter the analytics say to go for 2 percentage. That's the reason why the numbers for the 2-point conversions, although the attempts are so high and they're not getting them, it's garbage. You go for 2 when you need to. And guess what? To win a game on the road in Kansas City, you needed to. Sorry, I'm angry at the Bucs.
The weather, the weather too played a part in it, I'm sure as well. As far it was, I'm just saying it is what it is. But hopefully the Bucs can win that again. Not to bring back the Bucs. So you're taking the Chiefs to win. I'm also taking the Chiefs to win. At the end of the day, I'm very, very impressed with Hopkins. Let's give credit when credit is due. It reminded me a little bit of Johnny when Moss went to the Patriots. Now I'm not saying this is what's going to happen the rest of the year, but for them to connect so fast, 2 touchdowns. Incredible. Hopkins just showing that that he hasn't lost a step. It was like a prove it game for him. And so that's only going to help the Chiefs the undefeated Chiefs this season. Chiefs beat the Broncos at home. No doubt about it.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's move on to the Falcons and the Saints, Johnny. This is another divisional game here. The Saints are at home. I know that you're high on the Falcons, but will you make the right call on this one? Who you got?
I am making the right call. Falcons will win this game. Listen, we would have a different conversation possibly. Carr has been playing. The Saints is a completely different team under Carr. You got just some no-name schmuck that had a decent game, and that's it. And they've been running. It's the Saints are a mess without Carr. Even with Carr, they're okay, but obviously a significantly better team. No, the Falcons are winning this game. I know it's a divisional game, so these games are never a blowout. But it should be, but it won't be. It'll be like a one-possession type, score. They're going to win by, 6 points, in my opinion, here with the Falcons. So Falcons are winning.
Florida Man Sports, streaming on all platforms. This is why you have to come to the source when it comes to these kind of games, because I have to hold Johnny's hand here and help him out. Johnny, did you know that the coach for the Saints was fired this last week? Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be the anomaly, folks. That's going to be the thing that makes this game
this is a Jeff Saturday situation?
Completely different. With a new coach, interim coach, everything is off the table.
Oh,
Everything. Derek Carr is playing this game. And whether we have, because he's in concussion protocol, whether we have Olave back or not is irrelevant. That is an offensive powerhouse when Carr has the ball. Powerhouse. Give me the Saints to upset the Falcons in this divisional showdown.
Because he wants
because I need the Bucs to win. And just to be one game behind that division. So I'm taking the Saints. I just wrote the script for you, New Orleans. Don't let me down.
Yeah, okay.
Let's move on to the Steelers and the Commanders, Johnny, where this is another game of the week, if you will, because you got 2 great teams here. Steelers coming off the bye. Commanders are at home at 7-2. I would argue, before you give me a prediction, that that's a 7-2 team that's more lucky than good compared to the Bills. But who do you got in this one between the Commanders and the Steelers?
It was one game. You're saying the luck is one Hail Mary pass. And if you saw the game, yes, the defense was on point. They did what they did. The Bears scored on defense and run the game at the very end. So, no, I'm not lucky than good here. This is a really tough game to call. Ideally, I like the Washington Commanders on paper. I like them here. But Pittsburgh's coming off of that bye. They had a whole week to prepare, everything else here. Here's the thing, guys. This is why you listen to Johnny, Florida Man Sports.
Self-plug.
Quinn has never lost, whether as a head coach, offensive coordinator, to Russell Wilson. Never lost. Commanders win this game.
This is why you listen to Florida Man Sports. Because Christian is going to tell you that Quinn has never lost, except this week he will. The Steelers, I'm taking the Steelers to win on the road. I think that the Russell Wilson comeback tour is real. I think it's legitimate after all the struggles with Denver and all that. And I'm going to take the Steelers coming off the bye week, Johnny, to win this game on the road because I do believe, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I do believe that Washington is not as good as their record would indicate. Steelers win this game.
Yeah, I do believe that Russell Wilson, the tour is. I'm glad he came back.
I've
been very high on him. You're loving Fields for some reason. I'm like, no, Russell Wilson's the dude.
I love both. Okay.
So, but just because you come back and you're not going to win every single game, and Quinn has your number. So
let's see.
The scheme, how he sets it up here. I don't expect a good game from Russell Wilson. I'm just hoping that they see it's just one game. And not go ahead and get, short-sighted and pull them and bring in Fields or something else.
It'll be some interesting thing. But even if that were to happen, I'm still taking the Steelers. That's how confident I am that Washington is not as good as the record.
Are you as confident as you
don't hurt me?
You continue to call the Lions falling off every week?
We'll get there. We'll get there. They're coming up. They're coming up. They're coming up. They're coming up. Titans and Chargers, Johnny Cinco, were the Chargers. They're the home team. Titans are 2-6, bringing that 2-6 record on the road. What do you got?
Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers win this game. I don't think that it's even close. It doesn't matter if it's Rudolph at quarterback, right? Chargers win this game.
Has there been, I mean, we're not Tennessee fans, but has there been a more disappointing team
Nope.
than the Tennessee Titans?
Great point.
It's like, just because we
Great point.
expected something,
Yeah.
and then what the heck happened?
Great
Everybody has had a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
We talk about Mayo Levis, sophomore slump. Richardson, forget about it.
Stroud, yeah.
CJ, everybody in their sophomore year has fallen off.
Yeah. And to your point, I don't think that there's anyone, because the only team that I would think about like that would be the Bengals, but then they've bounced back and now they're 4-5, right? So at least, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the Titans are a big disappointment this year. Let's move on to the Eagles and the Cowboys, talking about disappointments, where the Eagles, Johnny, they're at home. Excuse me, I take that back. The Cowboys are at home, and they've shown that there's no such thing as home field advantage anymore. Who are you taking in this
Yeah,
one?
I think the Cowboys have a better chance if they played in Philadelphia. But, no, it's Prescott's not playing. Not that it really matters. Listen, actually, Prescott not playing. Rush comes in, and he's always kind of boosted that for whatever reason because he's more of a pure passer.
It's confirmed it's Rush? It's confirmed?
Yes.
Not
yes.
the dude that they traded for from San Francisco?
No,
Damn.
That fourth-round pick
Jerry Jones.
that's there.
Damn.
No, it's Rush. Rush is going to go ahead and be the backup. It's not San Francisco's. Was it Lance?
Trey Lance. There it is. Yeah.
So we all forgot about him. He's still around.
Yeah,
he's there.
he's there.
He's holding down the practice squad, holding it down for everybody. Wow. But no, the Cowboys are a mess. I think the Cowboys have a better shot this week more than any other week for whatever reason, because new blood coming in. Same reason you're giving the interim head coach something. Sometimes the new QB comes in, and Rush has had success as a backup, but not this week. No, the Eagles are going to go, and Barkley's going to just run all over them.
Yeah, I'm going to, like you did just a little while ago here, I'm going to toot my own horn here, Johnny. I said about the Eagles when they were having a rough start, they got to get healthy, they got to get better after the bye week, and they've done all that. They're at 6-2 now. They're getting better every single week, and it's going to continue this week, folks.
You're so humble.
You did it. I can't do it.
What are you talking about? What did I do?
So I'm taking the Eagles to continue this streak. I'm taking the Eagles to win. The money says -7. Again, I see one of those things being 10 or more. That's how confident I am in this Eagles team, as healthy as they are, to beat up on them boys.
Yeah, Dallas is a bad team, and they're just that much worse at home. Yeah. So yes,
and just also add salt to the wound. You know, Jerry Jones, what he did this week to help his team is pick up another wide receiver. Can
you explain that to me, bro? Please explain it to me.
I was hoping you could explain it to me.
I'm see Hopkins goes on a team for what, 5th round pick or 6th round pick. You got what was the other big move that ended up happening?
Williams
Cooper goes 5th round pick.
Yep.
You know, all these premier names that maybe lost a step, a great hands to your team, and then you pick up Mingo.
Yes.
Who?
For a 4th round pick.
For a 4th round pick.
But Johnny, they're getting back a 7th round pick as well.
And the thing is that if you want to look at the upside of Mingo, who plays on a terrible team in Carolina, now so Dallas, he's not helping you this year. Maybe, possibly next year he'll do something there, but he's a slot receiver. I mean, 6'2", he's a standard, but he's just a fast guy. I get all that. It's just not.
You're being a little too nice, I think. Look, the whole point of that is if you're trying to salvage your season, because to your point, if he's if he's going to help you next year, you could get him in the offseason, and not for a 4th round pick.
How do you pay for a 4th? How do you pay for a no-name guy on a terrible team, and then premier talent was available, and you said no? Even Mike Williams actually just going ahead. The Jets went ahead and traded him for nothing, like a 7th round pick or something. Mike Williams available. He's available. I believe he's on the Pittsburgh. So I cannot believe that the Cowboys picked up a nobody and gave up more than anyone else. Any other wide receiver that was available, they gave up more and got up so much less. The Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones may be the GM, right? He's the GM of the Cowboys, but I think people like Christian is probably his advisors, because it's just a boneheaded
100%.
move, in my opinion, 100%. At this point. A 4th round pick for somebody who, like you said, is going to help next year. Bonehead move. Let's move on to the next game, Johnny Cinco here, where we've got the Jets and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are at home. Cardinals showed, look at the Bears last week. Jets also won. Who are you taking in this one?
The Jets have found a way to win. Cardinals found a way to win. It's just, it's these games.
It becomes interesting this week. It becomes an interesting game.
Especially with games like this, they're very much evenly matched. I would like to go ahead and pick Arizona because I hate the Jets. But I honestly think that the Jets are going to go ahead and pull a string a few wins together. Aaron Rodgers is finally going to have something kind of going in with Adams. They're going to continue to kind of go on a stretch here. So I have the Jets beating Arizona.
Wow. Me too. I've got the Jets winning this game because I feel like this is going to be one of those things where the narrative is going to read, oh, Rodgers gets back-to-back wins, right? Kind of trying to start that train. So, yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm taking the Jets to win on the road. Jets win. Let's move on to the last game, Johnny Cinco, and our matchups here. This is going to be a Sunday night game where your Detroit Lions take on your Houston Texans. Texans are at home. Yeah, Texans are at home. Who are you taking this one?
My Super Bowl pick is going against the Texans. The CJ, who's on a serious sophomore slump. It's not even that serious. I mean, the guy has such an amazing rookie year that now he's having an average year, and everybody's like, you falling off.
Can I throw something to that? Can I throw something to that? To your point, the guy's got 11 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and it's a sophomore slump. That just tells you how great of a year he had last year in comparison. So you're right. Go ahead.
But the Lions are they're the class of the NFC. So the Lions are the best team in football, not just the conference. They're the best team in football. There's a reason why I saw something in them in the preseason. Stand by it, continue. They're making the Super Bowl. They're winning the Super Bowl, and it's going to go through this week, Houston.
Picking Houston?
No, they're going to go through Houston.
Oh, we're going to go through Houston. I got excited for a second.
You lost your damn mind.
Oh, my God.
Houston, no.
Listen, folks. This is what's going to get me over the top, this prediction right here. This is what's going to get me over the top this week, once again, beating Johnny.
Is it finally happening?
The Houston Texans are the home team.
Okay.
They're 4-0 at home.
Okay.
They'll be 5-0 by the time this is done.
Wow.
This is the game. This is the game where it's not going to be just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that beats the Lions. It's not going to be.
You're such a hater,
It's now going to be the Houston Texans. I don't waver, folks. They're not winning 10 games this year. I stick to the script.
4 straight weeks. They're losing. No, this is what they're losing. They're losing.
Houston wins at home. Come on, CJ Stroud. Show it for me.
No.
Listen, folks. This is Florida Man Sports. Those are the predictions for Week 10. Again, one way or another, we've been in double digits for back-to-back weeks, Johnny. And here's
one
where
of us we're going to kill it this week.
Where we also don't miss is in the waiver wire pickups and the stardom sit-em. Just to remind you, last week we said Leggett goes off. And I could go on the people that we've said, whether to stardom or sit-em, and the waiver wire pickups. So let's jump right into it, Johnny. Who do you have recommendation for this Week 10 matchup for a waiver wire pickup?
I think right now is a good time to pick up. He's available on 90% of rosters. Jonnu Smith, the tight end for Miami. I was surprised that he's available there. It's like the guy got, 6 targets last week. He's been averaging 12 points over his last 3 games. So he's available to a season. He's throwing the ball, and he's going against a Rams team that has a middle-of-the-pack secondary. This dude's going to get you double digits this week here. So Smith, tight end, Dolphins. A lot of you guys are in desperate need of some type of tight end action, some type of production from that position. And unless you have Travis Kelce, thank you very much, you're not getting that production consistently. So go ahead and pick up Jonnu Smith.
So humble. Listen, folks, we don't normally, when we do this show, our picks and everything, we don't go back and forth and discuss anything. We kind of do it here live. And one thing that I'll give you credit on your pick is this. When Tua came back, he's been back 2 weeks now, correct? Mm-hmm. You always want to see how he's going to react, how he's going to do, because you've got the powerhouse in Waddle and you got the powerhouse in Hill. And so those are usually the 2 people that he throws to mostly. But these last 2 weeks, to your point, Johnny, he's hit Smith. And he's shown that he's kind of like that safety haven to get rid of the ball, which he should have been doing for years now, for a long time ago. So
he's finally learned.
Yeah, I like that pickup. For me, real quick, folks, I told you last week about Ricky Purcell that you should have picked them up and stashed them because they were on bye week. Hopefully, monitor what he does this week. I stand by that pick as far as being a flex option or a wait-and-see option if you did. I want to give you one more.
Okay.
Demario Douglas for New England. I am very high on the Patriots in the sense that I believe in the quarterback. I believe in Drake May. I believe in what they're doing there. And he is the first option, the first picking order. He already gave 10 points last week. He's rostered in 25% of ESPN leagues. And so, again, if you're kind of like me, where you have a winning record and you can afford to make these moves of wait and see, if you missed out on Purcell, go ahead and pick up Demario Douglas now. As far as the schedule goes, Johnny, after this week, they have a very, very offensive favorable schedule. So, again, you heard it here first. If you can wait and stash him, Demario Douglas is going to be an option for you.
I like Douglas. This matchup coming up on Sunday, it's a little wary. But, I mean, they're going to be
As a
throwing the
stash-
ball.
as a stash
They're gonna
option.
the ball, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I like Douglas, so we'll see what happens.
Let's move on to stardom and sit him here at Florida Man Sports. Jonny Cinco. I give you 3 names.
Go for it.
You let the fans know, start 'em or sit 'em. Their week victories, depending on this, no pressure. Let's start with Jonathan Mingo. We're talking about a guy who was traded. You know, when someone is traded, especially for a 4th-round pick, we're looking at you, Jones. We gotta know. You know, is he gonna do good? Is he gonna blow up? Dallas gets him for that 7th. They get a 7th pick in return. Do you start him or sit him?
Well, you were getting no production from him for that in that offensive system in Carolina. It comes to Dallas, it's a pass-first team. So you think that, hey, he's possible. That dude's available everywhere. He's not rostered, he's available. So maybe he'll get you production. This isn't the week. I mean, Rush is coming in. He's had no reps with him. Rush is already the backup who's had plenty of reps with the 1st and 2nd team. You have Tolbert, you have CeeDee Lamb, you have all the players that are available in Dallas. So I think Mango will be a good option to pick up if you're depleted in that position, but the following week. This week coming up right now, it's possible. It's just very unlikely. I say sit him.
So you're saying basically that the guy that was traded, maybe grab him and keep him on the bench, but definitely not play him at all this week.
We're just talking about here. This isn't the waiver
Start
wire
him, right.
situation. Here, start him. If you
Sit
somehow have him, just
Sit
sit them. You have a spot on your bench. You want to pick him? Sit him. Do not start this guy. This isn't a week. Next week we can talk.
Especially with Rush. Let's move on to another wide receiver, Johnny, who's had back-to-back bad weeks. Tua coming back. We're talking about Jalen Waddle, 8 and 7 points. Do we start him or sit him?
This is surprising. I mean, I was expecting actually more production from Waddle over the last 2 weeks, more so even than Hill. Remember, Waddle and Tua, they were Alabama teammates there. They have a connection there, and they continue to have that. They always have, because while the deep threat is always there for Hill, that slot guy, that dump passes are always Waddle. But what Tua's been doing is actually those same passes actually been giving them to his running back, to a chain. So Chain's been cleaning up. Waddle hasn't. This changes this week. He's going against the middle-of-the-pack secondary in the Rams. I expect Waddle, double digits, 15-plus points from Waddle. You start Waddle this week.
That's going to be exciting to watch and monitor this week, Jalen Waddle. Let's put a bow on this one, Jonny Cinco. Talking about another guy who got traded, Deontay Johnson, who got traded last week to the Ravens, produces 0 points his first week in Baltimore. 88% rostered in leagues. Do we start him or set him this week?
It wasn't just the 0 points that kind of gave me concern. It was the 0 targets. The guy played. He didn't even look at him. Didn't look at him one single time. And the Ravens are playing short week. They're playing Thursday. It's right away. It's a it's a very short week for them to prepare. So I do not like DJ starting this week. He didn't even get looked at. I get it. Maybe he'll get production, but on a short week.
Against Cincinnati, this would be a
You're asking me?
Yeah.
On a short,
you're making the
on
calls.
a
You're making the
short
calls.
week.
Fans are thinking it, so I'm bringing it up.
On a short week, Flowers, Henry, likely even Andrews is coming around. Those are the targets there. I don't think there's going to be much from DJ. I don't think he's going to get 0 points. But if you're expecting double-digit production from DJ, I don't see it.
You heard it here first, folks. Johnny, before we wrap up the show, anything that we missed as far as NFL headlines that we want to throw out there before to put a bow on this one? I
mean, we talked about the different trades going on here. I know that Mike Williams going to, I believe it was Pittsburgh. I think he went there. Mm-hmm. So, all in all, it's been an exciting, NFL season so far, Chris. I mean, what is your biggest surprise so far coming up? Anything that sticks to your mind?
That is a biggest surprise?
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, a lot of things are happening. Okay, here's what I'll say. Okay. My biggest surprise right now, and I genuinely mean this, is that I am surprised that the Lions are playing as elite as they are right now. I expect the Lions to be a good team.
How do you think you're going to lose?
They're playing at an elite level without Hutchinson. That is a surprise for me. I'll be honest with you. I know that maybe not be a surprise for you. I know. But for me, to see a team without Hutchinson to be as a powerhouse as they've been, that is a surprise to me. I could see them peaking a little later on. They're peaking a little too early for me right now. You wouldn't agree on that? That they're not peaking a little too early?
There's no peaking too early. There's a dominant team. They're going to continue. Dominant teams.
Well, that's a surprise.
Ideally, you're speaking as a Bucs fan who they get hot at the right time and they go on a run. Yeah. But traditional Super Bowl great teams, they're just great all year. It's not just going on. They're great all year. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm come from the Patriot dynasty. We're just great all year and we win championships. So that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to getting lucky and getting a little run. I'm used to just being dominant for decades. But my biggest surprise actually.
Nice plug. Nice plug there, buddy. What is your biggest surprise?
It's Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is obviously the biggest surprise for me. I mean, the biggest surprise in terms of a team. We talk about the Titans being terrible, but nobody expected Daniels and even the Commanders to go ahead and he had a stranglehold on the NFC East. They're the best team in the NFC East. Philadelphia's there, but right now, Washington is the best team in that division, and Jaden Daniels is the number one reason because of that.
Hey, you're not wrong there.
Well, guys, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. Please remember that we are available on iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
YouTube,
everything, YouTube here. So we thank you guys. Chris?
We're out, y'all.
Later.